Hey guys, Jaden here. Welcome back to another episode for the entire series. I think we are nearing towards the end of the series, so hopefully you have enjoyed like this entire series. I certainly have. It's been quite enjoyable to, do the work and at the same time try to, um, you know, guide and teach, to show you guys what's really going on behind like some marketing campaigns that I work with. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to continue with content optimization because the previous episode, what we did was we did the optimization for just the homepage. But I'm going to show you optimization for one of the service pages. And then I'm not going to do it for all the service pages because the process is kind of similar. So I don't want to, basically repeat the whole thing for the rest of the pages. But I'm just going to show you one example. And then there are a couple of things that we need to fix. So we need to do some technical cleanup, some redirections, and also at the same time link building. So I'm going to explain to you how I generally think about link building, what things to take note of, and also what kind of links to build. Yeah. And yeah, so for the link building aspect, I'm not going to show you like what I did for all the things that I've been doing. I'm not going to show you like how I go to the platforms and then, basically the behind the scenes. And the reason why is because I think there is a little bit more sensitive information there. So I'm going to walk you through kind of the concept and also the strategy behind link building. And I think that will be more than enough. So that's for the link building aspect. So without further ado, I think we can first we check out some of the performance matrix first to see whether are they kind of doing well, how is it trending and things like that. And then we'll start off with content optimization. So if you do like this series, help me press the like button, so more people can binge on this series. Yeah, so let's get started. So if we look at the Google Search Console, right? So I filtered this out. You can see for the last 3 months, impression wise, it has been kind of plateauing and then kind of pivoting upwards. But because we only set the Search Console up, I think it was it in December? Let's take a look. Oh no, so this was like last year, and then now, after we started working on it, you can see the impressions are going up, but very very slightly, and I'm perfectly okay with this because, like I mentioned, SEO does take a little bit of time, and also we did like migration of the site and things like that. So if I just want to filter this out to just the local market, you can see, this. I don't know if is this considered trending upwards? A little bit, right? Yeah, a little bit. So I'm not too concerned about this actually. But if we just take a look at the last 3 months, right? Um, there are some signs of impressions and also clicks, and all these clicks um, are the clicks that we want to see. Like for example, Christian funeral in Singapore. These are very commercial pages, which we have a page that's targeting this, and then this is obviously the brand, and then we have another page that's targeting this keyword, and then Hindu funeral package and things like that. So all in all, it's showing some it's showing the signs that it's quite positive. So if we go over to Ahrefs, so for Ahrefs, if we just filter this out to the last 2 years, and we just see the footprint, right? So you can see the footprint. It's starting to show up for more keywords. The whole website is starting to show up for more keywords on Google, which is a really good sign because this is an indication that at least Google is associating all these keywords with our website, which is what we want to see. And then this is a rough indication of the organic traffic. I like to use this as a gauge because Ahrefs, they don't have the exact organic traffic because you can see this in the analytics, which also reminds me that we need to set up Search Console for Bing. Okay, because Bing is also one search engine we definitely want to we also want to capture the traffic from, because there are still users using Microsoft, using Bing as their web browser. So we do want to have Bing in there as well. Okay, but this shows kind of like Google, and yeah, like I mentioned, I only take this as a gauge because it's not accurate at all, their average organic traffic. So I use this as a gauge, but nothing more than that. But you can see it's showing that it's getting some signs, but I'm more interested in this section here, because if there's more keywords that's being picked up by Ahrefs, it means that the whole website is showing up for more keywords, which is what we want to see, because you can see in the past, since 2022 until now, the footprint has been increasing, especially since we really started working on the website. So that's a good sign. And then if you go in and take a look at the keywords, yeah, so this is updated 2 days ago, 4 days ago, 1 day ago. All of these are keywords that we are definitely targeting, right? So if you just open, let's say, Christian funeral service, right? And then if we see this, it's starting to trend upwards. Now, one thing you always want to take note, right? It's, if you notice, like, let's say, for example, in this case, you can see this URL here, Christian funeral package. This was our old URL. Okay, the new URL is over here, okay, which is under this hierarchy of services / Christian funeral. So ideally, and you can do this on your own as well, but if you see like your old URLs are ranking for keywords and not your URL, what you can do is you can just click into it, and you can see, okay, because this is I'm logged in to the I'm logged into the WordPress, to the backend, so it's showing me the page. But if you open this up in incognito, right, you can see this page is no longer, it's a 404 page. Okay, this page is no longer what do you call it? Yeah, it's a 404 page. It's no longer there. So what you want to do is always make sure to clean up all this, so that whatever signal that this old page was getting can be passed on to the new page. Okay, because subsequently over the next 3 months or 6 months, this keyword and this page will not be performing, will not get any kind of keywords showing up for this page, because this page is no longer live. Okay, and that's why like indicated here, like we have to do some redirections. We have to redirect all the URLs to the new URLs, and I think I can show you that in this video. Okay, so yeah, that is how the overall site is showing. One thing I'm more keen, it's not more keen but more excited would be for the homepage to show up for some keywords. So you can see right now, most of the pages that are showing up, right, are all commercial pages, which is ideal because we do want our commercial pages to show up for important keywords, right? However, if I just take a look at the homepage, right, you can see homepage, we only have the brand, which is not really important, because if somebody is searching for a brand, our website will show up. However, if I go over and see like our homepage, it's not getting the kind of keywords that we want to show up for. So our homepage, we're trying to rank for this funeral services Singapore, but it's not showing up, right? So one really good sign that I would like to see is this homepage shows up for the keywords that we're trying to target for the homepage. So funeral services in Singapore, Singapore funeral services, and things like that. Actually, one way that you can actually see, because sometimes Ahrefs doesn't, like, it's not like live, right? It's not updating live. So I can go over to performance here, and then I can just go in query, and then I can just actually not query. There should be a URL, yeah, page. So this exact URL, I just want to see the homepage, right? So if I just see the homepage, now what you can do is you can go down to impressions, okay, or sorry, impressions and clicks is fine, and you can just see the queries. So you can see like these are the queries that's appearing, right? So yeah, I'm noticing this query here. These are the kind of keywords that we want to show up for. So funeral services in Singapore, it does have some impressions, but not a lot. And if you just look at this impression, okay, it's showing up since March, but it's very, very minimal. So we do have to continue to optimize this homepage to give Google more relevance for like this keyword that we're trying to target. But ideally, that's what I want to see. I want to see this homepage shows up for a lot more this kind of keywords. Okay, so yeah, that is kind of like the performance. So what I'm going to do, right, it's I'm going to do the optimization for just one of the page. So let's say Buddhist, right? I think Buddhist is the one that that it's this one here. So you can see this is also an old URL, right? And the old URL is showing up in position 63. Obviously it was doing better, and then because we changed the URL to another URL instead, the hierarchy, the URL architecture changed from this old URL to a new URL. So we definitely will see this drop happening, right? So in order to kind of like, again, give more signal, we want to redirect this old URL to the new URL instead. But yeah, let me go and start working on the content optimization for this URL, which is under Buddhist, this URL here. Okay, so again, I've showed you guys like how to use Surfer to do it, and this time around I'm not going to do audit. I'm just going to go to content editor, and I want to do I want to import? Let's see, I can import in the URL here. Oops. Yeah, I can import in the URL here, and then mobile, yeah, and then the keyword. So the keyword, we already have it mapped out here, which is funeral, Buddhist funeral package. Okay, and then we go over here, and then what we can do is we can just click on create. So while it's creating, I've showed you guys like the previous in the previous episode how I, edit the content on Surfer. If you want to go more in depth, you can check out the previous episode. But yeah, essentially what we want to do is we want to set the benchmark for this keyword that we're trying to target, look at all the competitors that are doing well, and then see where the benchmark is, and then see where our content is at the moment and how far are we away from the benchmark. So I think I may use the AI to help me write this content. I'm not sure, but we'll see how far we are away. I also think we may have to add in a lot more keywords. I mean a lot more words on the content, because the page is quite thin. Yeah, it's quite thin. So this is a place where we can add in content. If we need to add in more words, we can add in the FAQ section as well. Okay, so this is done. We're going to go in and see where the benchmark is. So first thing, I want to clean up all the stuff that I do not need, right? So Buddhist funeral package, I'm gonna, for all the content that I'm not going to make any changes, right? I want to remove this out. So like for example, this call to action, I'm not going to change this call to action. So neither do I want the software to change the copy and the call to action. So I'm going to remove it out. Okay. And then what our Buddhist package consists of, this section here, I'm also going to remove this out, because I'm not going to change what is included in the package. Okay, so contact us for, this section here, I'm also not going to change it out. So the only section I'm probably going to keep is this, right? And then, and then we'll see. So I'm going to remove all of this out. Let me just fix all this. So I'm not going to change the testimonials here. This section here, I can also remove this out. Okay. And then this is also a testimonial. And I'm going to remove this out. So the only section here I have is this. Okay, and also later on, I think if we need to add in way more content, right, then I can add in the FAQ section, and I also can include in questions in the FAQ section to buff up the number of words on this page. I just want to see if my audio is doing well. Okay. And so the next thing I want to do is, again, to make sure that we are selecting the right benchmark. So this is an exact competitor offering the same kind of services. This is the same. This is also another competitor. This is a competitor, and this is a competitor. Is this a competitor? Let me go and take a look. Yeah, I believe this is a competitor. Yeah, this is a competitor. So we're gonna keep this. And if I have 5, I'm not gonna bother about the rest because 5 is more than enough. And the next thing I want to do is I want to see the content score. So you can see this content score is 79. So it's relatively, it's closing towards the 80 benchmark. And the minimum score I always want to aim for is 75. But we have a competitor that is in the 79 score range. So ideally, I want it to be more than 79. So 80 is good. And then looking at the number of words here, you can see this page has a lot of words, way more words than the rest. Yeah, it's very wordy. I think they should have a, yeah, so this section here, it's basically to, yeah, to squeeze in all the words, because to be quite honest, no, I don't think anybody will be reading this section here. The whole page is just very difficult to read. So most people will be reading here, right? Actual users, because that is what they want to know. But the rest, like, they like, people will be reading here. I'm pretty sure if you put a heat map in, you can see like this section here will probably be very, there won't be a lot of engagements. So it has like 2000 plus keywords, and then we have like 700 plus. So I'm probably looking at around 1000 words, to be honest. Yeah. So okay, so once they're done, we can hit let's go, and you can see currently the number of content score, the content score that we have is 29. And yeah, we definitely have to put in more words. So yeah, what I can do, right, is I can include in a FAQ section here. Okay, frequently asked questions. Okay, I can put this as a header too. Okay, and I think when I click auto optimize, I'm hoping that they can include in this keyword here. Now, this is not the usual process that I work with, because usually how the process works is each brands that I work with, right, they have their own internal writers. They have their own writing team. So what I do is I usually select the guidelines, and I usually select I usually give them this piece of software, because I can share this with anybody and they can access it, right? And then they can include in the keyword. So what I usually give them is just an outline. So follow the outline, the content score we need to achieve is minimum 75, best we are aiming for is 80. I also show them how to optimize and how to use the software in the outline. And then what I do is I basically give them this, and then their team will be the one who write the actual content. Now for this project, because it's a pro bono project, I'm doing this for a friend, and I don't think he has the capacity of writing, right? He doesn't have a writing team to do it. So I'll probably I need to think of, you know, how, because you don't want to just write for the sake of writing, right? Because you need to make sure that the actual content you're writing, it's true, it's factual, and as much as possible, it's helpful. So that works best if they have a writing team, because the person who is actually in the business knows the content and knows which is factual or not, you know. But for this brand, they don't have that person. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna use AI to write it, and I am going to kind of like fact check, just look through the content to make sure that it's not way too optimized just for the algorithm, and also to remove any kind of like like non-factual stuff in there. And this is the part that I don't like to do it, because I don't like to I don't like to write content, but I think we probably have to do it for this project. So yeah, and it's around 1000 plus keywords. Yeah, so let's see, we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna try using auto optimize and see what does what happens here. Can I change? No, I cannot just insert terms, right? Yeah. Let's try this. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. See how it's going to work out. The content score is already up to 38. Okay, it's already up to 66. Okay. Why didn't it change anything here? Oh, shoot. Okay, it's already up to 66, which is good, but I'm guessing because the number of words here, right? Okay, so I'm going to save and close. The number of words is still 315. So what's going to happen, right? I think is it's going to have a lot of Buddhist funeral services, Buddhist funeral packages, because the number of words are the same. So yeah, Buddhist funerals are a time to remember the deceased while providing by honoring Buddhist funeral customs. They are also a time for family and close to come together and support one another. Okay. Buddhist funeral package includes everything you need to. Okay, not too bad. Understanding Buddhist funeral etiquette and Buddhist funeral rituals. Yeah, you can see it's very, very heavily keyword optimized. But just by having this, right, we're up to 66. But one thing is, I do know that the number of words is definitely not enough. For sure, it's not enough. Yeah. Why don't they add in? Why don't they add in the questions here? So I guess they don't do that. I can obviously use ChatGPT to do this as well. But yeah. But again, I'm trying to see if we can just add this in and then yeah. Okay, let me just read through the. So we will work with you to create a customized program that reflects the life of your loved one, offering comprehensive. We can also help you with catering, accommodations, and other arrangements. Okay, again, I'm just trying to fact check to make sure that the things that it's covered here, it's actually covered by the business. Completes Buddhist funeral setup, okay. And conducting of rites and rituals based on common practices, okay. The family will be able to choose from a. Okay, that's true. Adhering to Buddhist funeral, we also provide a wide range of Buddhist funerals such as coffee and paper money, flowers. We ensure our viewers is a perfect. Okay. The way we organize the Buddhist reflects our deep understanding of beliefs in karma and reincarnation, okay. We guide grieving families through the entire Buddhist funeral process. Okay, our funeral package in Singapore includes all necessary services and okay, so technically the content is actually quite factual. However, one thing I don't like is the number of words. Okay, it's yeah, I would want to have more words here. And actually, I'm not sure if this is the correct. This is correct because I believe this is more than 300 words, to be honest. Let me just do a manual check because sometimes, you know, okay, it is 297 words because sometimes the software is a little bit wonky. So yeah, you know what? If I were to paste all of this in here, right, it's going to look very. It's not gonna look nice. I don't think it's gonna look very nice. But let's just see. Let's just see what we can work with. So let's change this. Yeah. So over here, it's for anybody who is going to be looking at this page. This section here, nobody will be reading this. I don't think anybody will be reading this because it's going to be very lengthy. And the whole reason why we have this is for SEO play. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to change the, yeah, why choose us for future Buddhist. I'm going to change the header here. Okay, because this is a H2. And so if we go over to the mobile section, I don't think anybody will be reading this section here. Right, and sometimes you will see this as well. Okay, because like I mentioned, we don't just, can you imagine if the whole page is like that, like it, if from the first page, right, all of it is just big chunk of text, nobody will be reading this. And so you also don't want to have it all nicely done up without any considerations for, you know, this here, because this is what Google uses to associate your content with the keyword that you're trying to target. So you also don't want to go all the way the other way around, having just a very nice page without optimizing it for SEO. So there's always this beautiful balance between doing it for the algorithm and doing it for human beings. And you know, that's why, like, you have to consider all these different elements. Yeah, if you can see, like, a lot of the e-commerce sites, right? If you go over to like Under Armour, Nike, all these popular platforms, right? If you take a look at their category pages, okay, so I'm going to show you, like, let's say buy water bottle, right? Okay, if you just go over to I don't know whether Decathlon have it or other let's say Under Armour. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. Okay, all these big brands, right? You can see this is the keyword that they are probably trying to go after, which is high water bottles, sport nutrition water bottles, hydration water bottles, right? And you can see, like, this is meant for users, right? Because users can browse and stuff like that. But what I want you to pay attention to is, usually for category pages, there will be words that people wouldn't usually read. Okay, so if you scroll down here, you can see why buy, right? And then delivery for your purchases. Like, nobody reads this section here. Okay, I'm not sure. I believe Under Armour also has it. So, like, let's say shoes, right? This is their main category. They're trying to rank for men's shoes. If you go scroll down all the way, I'm not sure how many do I have to scroll down, but yeah, do you see that snippet there? Hopefully you've seen it. There. Shoot. Here. Sport shoes for gym, running, golf, and more with the right support. And blah, 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 blah. Like, nobody reads this section here. Okay, almost nobody reads this. Okay, and most of the time, there will be a very small section just to put in the words in there, so that, again, we're trying to do this here. Okay, but at the same time, you're not trying to sacrifice the experience for just the words here. Okay, so that's why, like, most of the time you're going to see all the written content at the bottom of the page, because the top of the page, it's more important for users to do what they want, which is browsing, shopping, and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And then now, yeah, this section here, nobody's going to read this, but we're going to have it for the algorithm. So I'm going to remove all of this. And then when we click exit, let's see. Okay, so this is updated. Where's the page? I want to go and view the page. So this is updated here. So what I do want to do is just to do a benchmark. Okay, just to do a quick audit. What's the keyword that we're trying to go for? Buddhist funeral package. Okay, so we'll create an audit. We'll just see, you know, after we add in the words here, with all the consideration of other words that's included in here, where are we standing in terms of the content score? Yeah, and I'm not too worried, because I think it's definitely better than before already. So yeah, let's wait for this to load. And then yeah, the rest of the services page, right, is the same process. So I'm not going to show you guys, you know, the rest, because the process is exactly the same. Okay. So while waiting for this to load, the next thing that we want to do, right, it's we want to make sure that we are redirecting all the old URLs to the new URLs. So let's see if Yoast can do it. I think they should be able to do it. Oh yeah, they need premium. So it's okay, we don't have to go premium. There is a plugin that we can use. I believe it's called redirections. So let's get that downloaded first. Add a new plugin. Redirections. So the plugin that I use for SEO is Rank Math. Yeah, this one here. And I have the pro version, so everything that I can do, I can use it. Like redirections and all that, I can use it in Rank Math. So I don't have to have so many plugins installed. But yeah, I have to go in and connect and everything. So I'm just going to use the redirection plugin here, which is also fine. I'm going to activate it. Okay, while waiting for this to load. So there's only a couple of things that we need to do. Well, we need to redirect. So it should be under settings and then, wait, where is it? Yeah, it should be under settings though. Oh, tools, yeah, under tools. So welcome. Now we're gonna do. Whoa, what the hell is this? Go back. Wait. Okay, start setup. We don't have to do all this. What is this? Okay, let's wait for this setup. So let's take a look at the page in terms of the content score. Okay, so yeah, our content score went up to 75, which is good enough, right? Because you can see like just by adding the number of the keywords in there. But one thing I do not like is this. So this is how I usually gauge whether like, okay, in terms of the performance wise, what are kind of like the next steps if this page doesn't perform. Okay, because this gives you an idea of what you can do next. Right, so now that we have optimized the content score, although we are at 75, I know that if we do well, and if this page shows up in Google, in page 1, for example, it's getting traffic, right? That means it's a sign that, okay, we are doing the right things. However, if let's say things plateau for a moment and nothing changes, right? Then I know the next step that I will need to do is to add in more words here, because you can see the rest of the competitors. Okay, again, I can go in and filter out just the competitor that I want to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rest is not that important. Okay, and you can see like in terms of the number of words, we are quite far off. So ideally, I want it to be like at least 1,000 to around 1,005, right? At least in the recommended range. Okay, so this is the next thing that I know I need to do. However, like I mentioned, because the brand, usually if you do this, you want to get 2 things straight away done. You want to make sure that the content score is up to score, and also you want to get the number of words in the recommended range. And if you have a writing team, obviously it's going to be easier for you to do that. Like I mentioned, this brand doesn't have, and I'm also not going to be writing content for them. And so it's kind of like the MVP, the minimum viable product, right? So minimum viable product is here. And if it doesn't go, if it doesn't shows up, doesn't have any traction, then we will go in and add in more add-in content. Okay, but ideally what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're doing both at the same time. Okay, so yeah, it's quite decent already since we're already up to 75. Okay, so we are going to remove this. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to set up redirections. So it's going to be quite easy for a small site, okay, because the small site, there's not a lot of pages. But if you have a large site, then what you want to do is the redirection you set up is going to be completely different. I do have a video, I think, on how to do site migration. It's in one of the videos that I've done. So go ahead and check it out. I think you can just search for website migration or site migration. I show you how to do a proper redirection for all the pages, what to redirect, what is important and stuff like that. Okay, so for this one, it's going to be relatively easy because we only have like a couple of pages. So because we only have a couple of pages, I'm just going to redirect all the page. So firstly, we have, so I'm going to sort this out A to Z, and this is our page here. So we have the old website, we also have the new website architecture. So what I'm going to do is I am going to source URL, this is the old URL, okay, and match in all order and then this will be the new URL, which is the Buddhist page. Okay, so I'm going to go here, visit site, copy, and we're gonna paste. Yeah, so this is the, okay. What I do want to, yeah, ignore case. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a redirection. So how you can check whether if it works, right? It's you can go to the old URL. So this is the old URL. And look, it's being redirected to the new URL. And you want to make sure that the redirection here, it's a 301 redirect and not a 302. Okay, so for some context, 301s are permanent redirects. It's a language that you're kind of telling Google that this redirection is permanent. How,ever a 302 redirect is temporary. So yeah, I'm not going to explain how to use temporary redirects and why is it. Just make sure that if you are removing your old page and you have a new page, just make sure that it's a 301 redirect. All right. Yeah, and so what I also want to do is I want to check if this page here also redirects to the new page, because it's supposed to. Okay, so it's working. So now that this redirection is done, check it once. I'm going to do it for the rest. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and then we have, this is what, Catholic. Yep, so we're going to go Catholic, add redirect, and then we're going to go Buddhist funeral. I'm going to go Christian, and here Christian, add what else, COVID. So we don't have this page anymore, so it's fine. Yeah, this Hindu one, Hindu. Yeah, so that's how you yeah, so that's how you set up the redirect. It's pretty straightforward, but you have to do it because if your site is bigger, chances are you're gonna lose a lot of signal that your previous site was already, your previous version of the site that was already getting. You do not want to do that, because like I mentioned, SEO already takes time. So all these things that you're doing, right, is minimizing the number of the time that you actually need. Okay, because if you don't do simple things like this, it's gonna take more time. And you know, why not just clean this up, and then your site can show up a little bit faster on Google. So I believe that was the redirection for all the services page. So I 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So this is done. Now I do want to go in and take a look at. Now that's all. Yeah, that's all. Because the rest of the pages are not important. Okay, the home page is already redirecting to the correct version, so that's fine. Okay, so now that the redirection is done, right, the kind of like the last thing I want to show you guys, it's the link building aspect. So for link building, like I mentioned, I cannot show you. How long is this video? Right, 30 minutes, we still have time. So for the link building aspect, I'm not going to show you like what I'm doing kind of like behind the scenes, because like I mentioned, there's a lot of sensitive information behind that. I'm going to show you how it's going to be done. So if you go over to any kind of like SEO tool, either Ahrefs, SEMrush, whatever tool that you're using, right, you need to first see where's your current like link profile at like. So if you take a look at the current website, there is no links, right? It's a blank piece of paper. And the general rule of thumb for link building is you want to make it look as natural as much as possible, right? Don't have anything that is weird. And every time when there's a decision that you need to make, always think of what is the most natural way to, what will look natural, okay? So now if you look at, if I were to look at this site, it doesn't have any links. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is I want to build links to the homepage, because if you look at any kind of website, most websites, they are going to have the most number of links to the homepage, because people will be mentioning the homepage, people will be mentioning the URL of the homepage, and the homepage will generally get the most number of links, followed by, whether if it's an informational piece of content or stuff like that. But the homepage generally gets the most link. So if I'm going to build a link, if I'm going to start a link building campaign here, I want to build links to the homepage first. Okay, that's first. And then that's not only the thing that you need to think of. The second thing that you need to think of is in terms of the anchor text. So anchor text is very simple to understand. It's basically the text that when somebody clicks onto, that links to your page. What is that text, right? So it can be click here. It can be like this is an anchor text, right? If I click on this, it goes to the website, right? See, so this is the anchor text. Okay, so your anchor text, you need to make sure that the anchor text is also, again, looks natural. For a website like this, we want to have the anchor text mixed up with a lot of generic anchor text, mixed up with a lot of branded anchor text. So for example, branded anchor text will be like, young funeral service. Okay, and it can be this is a branded anchor text, right? Because it's the brand. Okay, and then you can have like www.youngfuneral.com as the anchor text, and young bereavement etc blah blah blah. Like, you get the idea, right? So this is branded. Generic ones will be your click here, more info here, or website, for example, right? But these are all generic anchor text. And then you go down to your keyword focused anchor text. One more thing is naked anchor text. So naked anchor text is just basically like this website, right? Which is also kind of like generic, but the naked anchor text is just like that. Okay, and then we go down to a little bit more focus. So we have like partial match, we have like exact match, we also have like secondary keywords. Okay, so for example, partial match will be the main keyword that we're trying to target is funeral services in Singapore. So what is partial match? Partial match means that it's let's say funeral service. Okay, so this will be kind of like partial match, but it's also not, this section here is also not considered like partial match, because it's it's kind of the main key, it's still one of the main keywords that we're trying to target. But just as an example, I'm going to show you, because the exact match will be funeral. This is the exact keyword that you're trying to target. Okay, this is the exact keyword you're trying to target, and then a partial match will be part of the keyword. So like, for example, this is not a good example, right? But service in Singapore, right? Okay, so yeah, it's just partially, it's gonna match. It's not exact, it's just it matches partially, right? For example, like this, it's a partial match. Secondary keywords will be, earlier on in some episodes we mentioned that there are some secondary keywords. So for example, like this is a secondary keyword. Sorry, because for the homepage, it will be something like funeral packages. Okay, like secondary keywords, because ideally you only want to have one primary keyword that you're trying to target, which is most of the time you want to use the exact match to target the primary keyword, right? So funeral packages in Singapore, like all these are your secondary keywords, and sometimes this can also be your partial match, right? But these three here are very, very anchor text focused. Very keyword focused. So if you think about it, the natural way to do it is you want the anchor text to be more branded, because most of the time people are not going to link to your website with an exact anchor text. Most of the time it's not going to be this way, right? Because most people, they don't know SEO. They're just going to mention like either, they're going to mention like your website as a naked anchor text. They're going to mention like click here for more information, and generic, right? There will be very, very odd instances, very few examples that they use a exact anchor text, but that is the very, very uncommon ones. So if you look at it from a natural perspective, which anchor text would be used more often? Is it going to be branded? Is it going to be generic, naked, or the keywords focused one? Most of the time, it's going to be branded, generic, or naked, right? And then there will be a couple of partial match. There will be a couple. There will be even less of exact match anchor text, and also, secondary and partial is the same. So when you do SEO, when you are building links intentionally, right? When you're launching a link building campaign, all these are things that you have to think about. The first thing you want to do is you want to build branded anchor text first, or at least generic anchor text first, or naked anchor text first. If your website already has links, then you want to go over and click on anchors, look at the page that you're trying to target, and see what is the anchor text profile at that moment in time. Because if it's going to be the other way around, if you see your anchor text, most of it are partial match, or most of it is exact match, then that's the wrong way to go, because that is very unnatural. So you want to mix things up with generic, naked, or branded. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to build the links to the homepage with naked anchor text, like with generic, branded, and naked first. Okay, and then the next batch of links that we can build will then be, again, we can target the homepage, but this time around we can go with secondary keywords, okay, or we can go with partial match keywords. But most of the time, the proportion or the percentages should be branded, generic, and naked anchor text should hold the most majority of percentage. It shouldn't be keyword focused anchor text first, because it's going to look very unnatural. Okay, so that's for the homepage. And then obviously with the rest of the pages, you also want to send links to the rest of the pages. However, the ratio should be homepage should always have the most number of links first, followed by the rest of the pages, right? Because in a normal world, in a non-SEO world, in a non-optimization world, a homepage will get more links than your services page or your product category page, right? So that is how you want to do it. Now, in terms of like the link building techniques and stuff, there's a lot of link building techniques out there that you can see at Google, which you can follow. Tons of ways that you can do link building, right? So choose what you want, but just make sure that your link building needs to be as natural as much as possible. Okay, the last tip that I can give you guys, we are still 48 minutes in. So the last tip that I can give you guys, right, it's the velocity of the links. Okay, so what do I mean? Generally, you don't want to, okay, this is a referring domain, right? But it will look very unnatural if on one of the months, so for example, if you launch your link building in January and you have a lot of links here, okay, and then February you don't have any links, and then March you don't have any links, April you don't have any links, and then June you suddenly have a lot of links again. That looks very unnatural. So what you want to do is you want to space out your link velocity. So for example, if you're building 5 links this month, you can build 5 links or 3 links the next month, and then subsequently the next month you can build 5 or 8, right? So at least it's looking natural. How you do not, however, want to have January you are building 200 links, and then in February you build 1 link, and then in March you build 1,000 links, right? And then that looks very unnatural. Okay, unless you are a big company that's running a lot of PR, a lot of PR media releases, then that makes sense, because at least it's a PR release. But keep your links, keep your link velocity natural also. You also want to consider things like that, right? So all in all, that's how we would be looking at this link building campaign. And obviously, like with link building campaigns, you do need to have budget allocated, because most of the time when you reach out to websites, they'll be asking you for some kind of compensation, whether if it's most of the time it's going to be monetary compensation. Sometimes they'll ask you for link exchanges, where you're exchanging links and stuff like that, right? So that is one thing that you do want to set aside for link building. Now for this campaign, like I mentioned, because it's a pro bono, I do have to think of how we can not spend too much money on this project, because it's a pro bono project, and we don't want to spend like we don't necessarily have like $2,000 extra budget to spend into this pro bono project. But at the same time, I also want to show I also do want to see if there's any way that we can do this without spending that much money. Okay, so yeah, that's all in all about it. The last thing that maybe I can remind you guys to do is always make sure to set up your search console for Bing. Okay, and how you do that is actually very simple. Just go to Bing Search Console, right? And how you would set up for the Google Search Console for Google, it's the same for Bing. Okay, and you definitely want to set this up, because most times when your if your Google search if Google is already driving a lot of traffic for your website, then Bing is probably going to do the same. And sometimes when your traffic is affected by Google, Bing kind of like remains the same, and it's kind of like stabilizes your website, because you still have another source of organic traffic going to your site. So you definitely want to set Bing up. Okay, and I don't think it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, I'm going to move myself here because I don't know whether if there's going to be information that is sensitive, right? But you basically log in. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so once you log in, yeah, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, so I am okay. Let me just show you guys an example. So you can see, like, once you're logged in, right, you can click on add a site, and then it's basically the same thing. You want to either import your site from GSC, which you can click on the import button, or you can just add your site manually, right? But do that, get it set up. It's definitely one thing that you want to do. Okay, so with that being said, I think that's about this series. Yeah, so it has been a really interesting series. What I would probably come back to is I'll probably come back and update with like performance to see whether if things have changed and stuff like that. But this is generally how I set up for a from a SEO perspective. This is how we usually think about things when we optimize a website. And yeah, I may come back with a update video on, like, the performance, what has been done and stuff like that, right? But all in all, I really wanted to show you guys this is how you can work on a project, and some of the key elements to think about when it comes to SEO and optimizing your website, your offer, your analytics and stuff like that, design and stuff like that, right? So that's all for this series. So I hope if you have watched all the episodes, I really thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, because it's quite a long series and I really enjoyed myself doing this. And so if you like this series, just if you watch until this point, just help me click on the like button. It will help push this video out to more people. And if you've not subscribed, you have watched until this part here, might as well just subscribe, and you'll be notified whenever I post new content. And also let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future, what help do you need, and yeah, comment down below, and that's about it. So thank you so much for watching this series. Until then, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.